Welcome to the virtual graduation ceremony of Loyola University Chicago. My name is Robert Buchholz, and most years I act as master of the ceremonies for this event in the College of Arts and Sciences. But much more importantly, as a professor of history, it's been my privilege to welcome Loyola students to my classroom for 33 years. Now, 4 years ago, I had the privilege to join President Rooney in welcoming many of you. For some, it was the very first time you'd ever set foot in a college classroom. For others, the classroom was already a familiar place on the road toward multiple degrees. Little did any of us know what we would go through to make it to this moment. But truth be told, you're not the first Loyola class to face adversity. It's kind of a Loyola tradition. Take the very first class of 37 students who enrolled in St. Ignatius College in 1870. It all began with German and Irish immigrants looking for a better life in a place that didn't always welcome them. The brand new academic building that welcomed them didn't even have enough desks, let alone glass in all the windows. So if you've ever complained about the temperature in a classroom or a dorm at Loyola, you should know that too is a campus tradition. Within a year, the city burned to the ground in the Great Chicago Fire. Somehow, the St. Ignatius campus was spared. Some say thanks to the prayers of our first president, Arnold Damon, S.J. Loyola was later renamed and relocated, founding professional schools around the city that served the underserved. By 1914, our first international students from Costa Rica, Puerto Rico, Cuba, and Korea had enrolled in the School of Medicine. Today, our community of international students comes from 82 countries. Loyola's medical school was the first to admit DACA students and currently has the highest proportion of them in the nation. In 1915, the School of Sociology, now the School of Social Work, was founded and immediately began to educate young women as well as young men to bring the world some much-needed change. By the 1920s, the law school had enrolled its first African-American students. We also posted ads in Yiddish to let Jewish applicants know that they were welcome here too, unlike other schools at the time who barred both groups. Past generations of Loyolans also went to war. By the fall of 1943, 80% of the student body was deployed. In fact, the 108th Medical Unit was staffed primarily by Loyola physicians, nurses, and recruits, healing those who fought the Nazis on the battlefields of Normandy. After the war, Loyola basketball broke the color barrier by starting Ben Blewett. Thanks to his trailblazing courage, Loyola had a fully integrated team with 4 black starters who battled against racial injustice and won a national championship in 1963. In fact, it was often students who led the way, fighting the good fight for social justice and teaching Loyola how to live up to its mission's highest ideals. For example, in 1963, when Loyolans marched in support of African-American student Mickey Leaner's desire to swim in the segregated Illinois Catholic Women's Club pool at the top of Lewis Towers. Later in the decade, groups from Loyola and Mundelein marched with Dr. King in Selma and with Cesar Chavez in California. In the 1960s and 70s, the whole campus erupted in protest of the Vietnam War. And of course, last summer, Loyola students defied a global pandemic to march in support of Black Lives Matter. It's been a terrible year with much loss, but also with moments of triumph over adversity. History teaches us that the essential task of humans is to go on, to have empathy for others, and to make things better when we can. Loyolans have done that for 150 years. The class of 2021 has experienced a lot. Many of those experiences parallel the ones I've been describing. From the excitement of once again making basketball history with our March Madness runs, to the challenges our nation faces as it is plagued with racial inequality. Ending your time at Loyola during a pandemic is not an easy feat. But one thing is certain: Loyolans always persevere. We will look back at this time and appreciate the growth these circumstances brought. I promise you. Always remember that no matter how hard the struggle might have seemed, your time at Loyola educated you to make a difference, prepared you to achieve the impossible, and inspired you to go forth and set the world on fire. So, maybe without knowing it, every time you got out of bed to join that class Zoom, or posted in that Sakai forum, or put on a mask and braved the testing regimen to come back to campus, you were continuing in that distinguished tradition of perseverance. Congratulations, class of 2021. You stuck with it, fulfilling the promise you showed and the duties you accepted when you chose Loyola as your home, your alma mater. Before we begin, I'd like to give a special thanks to our students who will be serving as MCs today. Throughout the program, you will hear from students about their time at Loyola, including favorite memories, as they introduce our various speakers.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave,
My name is Courtney Hutchings. My pronouns are they, them, theirs. I'm a newly doctoral graduate of the higher education program here at Loyola. Although there has not just been one memorable experience from my time here at Loyola, I think of all of the spaces that I occupy as a Black queer person that has brought me joy, love, and laughter. I remember the places such as SDMA, Lewis Towers, the library, Sullivan Center, the Damon Center, and all of the student staff, faculty, and administrators that I've met over the years, just to name a few. While I think about all the memories and the people at Loyola, like my cohort, HESA, Black Graduate Student Alliance, that have made me feel seen and feel heard, I also think about all the times that I was challenged and these moments here at Loyola. The times when I felt joy, when I've also been able to find spaces where I feel physically and emotionally liberated. And I think that that's what's been really beautiful about Loyola in retrospect. These memories are not just necessarily one experience, but a multitude of experiences and different people that I've met. People that have made me smile, people that have made me cry, people that have made me feel like I belong, not necessarily within the institution, but belonging to the people that mean the most to me and are near and dear to my heart. And so when I think of Loyola, I think of community. I think of people that are really fighting and resisting for change, not only on this campus, but then with different cities and communities. And lastly, it makes me feel very grateful that I've been able to have these type of moments here at Loyola during my time here as a staff member and as a doctoral student. And now I'd like to welcome Father Chili Kulam, who will be offering the invocation.
Thank you, Courtney. God of wisdom, truth, and goodness, we, the faculty, staff, administrators, and students, along with their families and friends, come before you today with hearts full of gratitude and joy. We thank you for our graduates who begin a new chapter in their lives. At a time marked by anxiety and distress caused by the pandemic, with your grace, they stayed on course with great resilience and patience to accomplish the dream of completing their graduation. Loving God, many and rich are the blessings you have bestowed on our students in these years. Academic achievements, personal growth, gift of friends and community, spiritual nourishment, and rootedness in Jesuit values. We thank you for your everlasting goodness and providence. Today, we lift up our students to you and pray for them. May they have success in what they aspire for and find joy in life. May they remain strong in adversities and be comfortable in not knowing what is ahead. May they be a source of life for others by becoming men and women for others. May they have the gift of discernment to know what is good and right for every situation. Enable them to walk in your light and transform the world into a place of hope, justice, and love. May they find you in all things, especially in the poor, the stranger, and the afflicted. God of love and goodness, thank you for the gift of our Loyola community and for the opportunity to build this community with these wonderful students who have completed their studies here. May our bond as Loyola family remain strong even after they leave us. We ask all of this in your name and trusting in your unending love. Amen.
Thank you, Father Chilikulam. Hello, my name is Alexis Meyer, and I'm graduating with a double major in Marketing and Management and summa cum laude honors. During my time at Loyola, I was a Student Athlete Advisory Committee President and was a member of the Loyola basketball team. My favorite Loyola memory is going to the President's Ball with my basketball teammates my junior year. This was my favorite memory because we got to spend time off the basketball floor, which is pretty rare. I would now like to introduce President Rooney, who will offer her welcome to the 2021 commencement celebration.
Thank you, Alexis. On behalf of the students, faculty, staff, and trustees of Loyola University Chicago, and our worldwide network of alumni, family, and friends, I welcome you to the commencement celebration for the class of 2021 of Loyola University Chicago. In this most unusual year, we have been inspired by the remarkable resilience, creativity, and determination you showed while completing your programs and now earning your degrees. In any year, commencement marks a transition between the past and the future. It is a time filled with mixed emotions, marking the end of a formative journey full of discoveries, but also representing the beginning of a new adventure filled with promise, hope, a new vocation, and sense of purpose. This year, our familiar rituals and celebrations are different and primarily virtual. However, the form of our celebration does not diminish the magnitude of your accomplishment. Our optimism, faith, and sense of purpose still emanates through this commencement. As this past year also taught us, this should be heightened by our commitment and quest to bridge the divisions so apparent in our society. Coming together today is so important. No matter our location, background, or experience, we join together to celebrate a range of achievements across many fields. We connect with resolve and possibly a bit of stubbornness, not only to mark this milestone, but also to affirm our commitment to the values of Jesuit education. These values center on reconciliation, civil discourse, creating new knowledge, deepening understanding, and seeking greater social justice through education, faith, and service. You, our graduates, now embody these values as you carry them into the world.
Thank you, Dr. Rooney. Hello, I'm Dr. Anya Nicolai, and I earned my PhD in microbiology and immunology. Loyola provided an environment for me to grow, not only as a scientist, but as a community-driven leader. When I proposed the idea to start a Women in Science program on the Health Sciences campus, I was afraid that I would be told it would be too distracting from my studies, but instead I was met with open arms. My department emphasized the importance of bringing science to the general public, and through the Women in Science program, I was regularly able to. Many of my favorite memories revolve around my experiences with the Women in Science program, where I got to bring together students and faculty, where we formed personal bonds that made our campus feel closer through meetings, seminars, and outreach events. My favorite part of the program was the science outreach. We went to neighboring K-12 schools to do experiments, judge science fairs, and present our work. We even teamed up with the American Heart Association in Expanding Your Horizons to perform outreach events. The most impactful event for me was our annual Science Sisters Day, where we brought middle school girls to our campus for a hands-on day of science. I will never forget the look of joy and wonder on their faces. Community outreach provided me with a sense of purpose, where I could bring my passion of science to girls in my community. Loyola didn't force me to just focus on my studies. Instead, they allowed me to grow both as a scientist and as a leader. I came to Loyola to get my PhD, and I left with so much more. I would now like to welcome Provost and Chief Academic Officer Norberto Grivatz to share some remarks.
Thank you, Anya. On behalf of the deans, our faculty, and the entire Loyola University Chicago community, welcome to our 2021 commencement ceremony. Congratulations to our graduates on this special occasion in this historic year. Although we can't yet be together in one place, as you can see, I'm recording this message from my home, we celebrate you, our class of 2021, today. You have earned our everlasting respect and admiration for everything you have accomplished during the unprecedented circumstances of a pandemic. Today, we share our pride and our joy with you and with all who have supported you, your teachers, your families, and your friends. Thank you, and welcome to our Global Rambler community, who join us today for a ceremony that symbolizes all of our hopes and aspirations. As Jesuit-educated people, we are called to act for others, to transform lives, and create a better world for all. In this, Loyola's sesquicentennial year, and with each new class, we recommit ourselves to this mission. In education and research, we harness intelligence and compassion, engage students and communities, and lift them up in the light of knowledge. Our graduates will use their Jesuit educations to deepen engagement with their professions and their communities. They will go into the world with expertise, with intention, and with integrity to serve others. Their vocations will take many exciting forms and creative paths. Today, united in mission, we link arms with our graduates and families and walk toward a hope-filled future and a more just, equitable, and sustainable world. Congratulations, class of 2021. I would now like to welcome Lucas Williamson to share some remarks. Lucas is receiving a Bachelor's of Arts degree in Multimedia Journalism. Hey Lucas, what a great March Madness run you and the Ramblers had this year. Congratulations. Welcome, Lucas.
To the class of 2021, we did it. Take a deep breath and a moment to embrace all of what you've accomplished over these past years. Some of you are first-generation graduates. Some of you overcame insurmountable adversities. Some of you worked harder in these past years than you ever had. Whichever way you want to write it, you made it to this moment, and that is no small feat. Take a moment to be proud of yourself. I remember when I first moved into DeNoble Hall 4 years ago. My mother dropped me off with tears in her eyes as she gave her firstborn son to the world. Like all of you, I came here unsure of what the future held for me, and the uncertainty of what was to come scared me. I just knew I wanted to make the most out of my time at Loyola, and what a time it has been. I've learned a lot during my time here. I've learned a lot about the way the world works. As a multimedia journalism major, the classes here have shown me how politics can impact and change lives. From my management classes, I learned a lot about leadership. I found out that I enjoy playing a role in other people's successes, and I honed leadership skills that I learned in class and applied them on the court. But most importantly, I learned a lot about myself, about the type of man I want to become, about what values in life are most important to me: honesty, integrity, accountability. I learned about not taking time and the people in your life for granted. But my time here was not always Final Fours, Sweet 16s, and MVC championships. There were times where I had to take care of my mental health and challenge myself to be vulnerable and more open with my emotions. I dealt with injuries, failures, and mental breakdowns. There were times where I didn't think I was good enough, smart enough, or experienced enough to do what was being asked of me. My sophomore year was probably the lowest point in my life. I broke my hand earlier in the season and had to work 6 excruciating long weeks to recover, only to break the same hand again just a week later. I made the decision to undergo surgery and restart the whole rehab process. My faith, patience, and love for the game was being challenged because basketball had always been my outlet. Without that, I felt lost and knew I needed to seek help. I feel like college is the first time where we face these sorts of tests, where we aren't sure where we're going, but carry on anyway. So like many of you, I held on and trusted God to get me through. And not only am I stronger because of it, I now possess the confidence in myself because of the knowledge and lessons I learned both inside and outside the classroom. Let me ask you now to pause and think about your proudest moment at Loyola. Where were you? Who were you with? What did you accomplish? As I prepared for today's speech, I reflected on my proudest Loyola moment. Care to guess what it was? I promise you, I had never been more nervous for anything in my life. All eyes were on me. This was the moment we had prepared all year for. I took a deep breath and faced the 14 people in my Spanish class. It was our final assignment, and I delivered my 5-minute speech in Spanish. When it was over, I can't tell you how much of a confidence builder that was. I'm sure you've had those moments too. Because of everything we've experienced here, we can leave more confident than ever to face the uncertainty of life yet again. If anything, our senior year was a testament to how much we can endure. In a matter of weeks, we had to relocate and adapt to remote learning. We had no idea when things would return to normal. This class will forever be bonded by our resiliency to face a pandemic head on and not let the uncontrollables deter us from our goal. During the next phase of our lives, there will be times where life will test you. You'll face obstacles, uncomfortable situations, and life-changing decisions. But face them with the confidence that you're prepared for it. You spent your entire life educating yourself to be who you are today. You're ready to take the next step in your journey. And always remember, you're never alone. You have the whole Loyola community behind you, supporting your every move. As you move on to the next chapter of life, I'll leave you with this. Don't fear the uncertainty. Embrace it and claim it as yours. And in the words of Sister Jean, amen, God bless, and go Ramblers. I would now like to introduce Soli Chacko, who is receiving a PhD in sociology and who will share some remarks on behalf of the Loyola graduate student community.
Thank you, Lucas. Dear class of 2021, this past year has been unprecedented, and our lives have been affected profoundly. We have seen people struggle on a daily basis, and at the same time, admired the passion and efforts by our frontline workers. We have experienced fragility and vulnerability, and yet strived to hold on to hope. And today we are here, together, recreating a collective identity through this very important celebration. I remember a few years back, I was at an academic conference. I think it was also the last day of the conference. I was exhausted, both mentally and physically. But the exhaustion was not because I was at a conference, anxious about showcasing my work, networking with other scholars, or even finding a quiet corner where I could pause and take a deep breath. My exhaustion was from just having finished 2 of my comprehensive field exams, submitting the draft of the research proposal to my advisor, and sending a paper to a journal for the 3rd time, after receiving rejections from the 2 other journals. It was also connected to my experience as a brown immigrant woman in America and having to navigate a myriad of spaces that shape the lives of people of color in this country. Simply put, in that moment, I was immersed in my exhaustion. I looked around and saw another person, a woman of color, sitting next to me. I knew she had just received her PhD and was waiting to hear from a university where she had applied for an academic position. Our eyes met briefly, and I asked her, "Is there a trick to doing all of this?" She looked at me and said, "Just show up. Keep showing up every day. That's it." I have to say, I expected more. Needless to say, I was hoping she would say, "Oh, read this book," or "follow this blog," or another self-help suggestion. While I had originally naively dismissed what she shared, I never forgot what she told me. For me, it emphasized the connectedness we have with each other by showing up for ourselves and for others. It stressed the power of solidarity and realizing that we walk this road together. And at times when we least expect, we meet people on the road who help us on the journey. Today, we are all here to celebrate our accomplishments with friends, family, and community because we all showed up every day in pursuit of a larger purpose and passion that each of us share. This shared passion is our collective commitment to social justice through our teaching, research, and service. This passion is not just limited to this moment. In my own research, I consider the experiences of low-wage immigrant Muslim women workers in the US and how their lives changed upon migration. These women graciously shared their stories with me. They discussed how they feared being pulled over when dropping their children to school because they did not have the required documentations. They worried about getting to work on time after completing numerous other responsibilities for their children, parents, and their spouses. They continue to worry about COVID-19 and fear it on a daily basis as they work in low-wage service sectors. The women in my study left family members and friends back in their old countries to create a new life in the US and to support themselves and the new community to which they now belong. They believe in the hopes and the dreams that this nation is built upon, and so they keep showing up every day. In their journey, I was able to accompany them, much like the woman at the conference accompanied me. And in this process of showing up, collectively, we were changing the narrative of resistance and redefining what resilience looks like in everyday life. As we celebrate this momentous occasion during such unprecedented times, I'm reminded of my research participants. I'm reminded of the power of resilience. I'm reminded of the power that comes when we accept that tomorrow can be different from today. I am reminded of what it means to gain strength by standing on the shoulders of those who came before us. This event marks the exact time when we, as students and scholars, start a new journey. My hope for all of us is that each of our journeys is defined by moments that spur our belief in others, where we are equally grateful for the knowledge we share and the knowledge we receive from others, where we share messages that make others resilient in times when they too need to hear a voice that says, just keep showing up. And in this way, we remind ourselves that collective helps promote, protect, ensure the common good and the dignity of the human person. I would now like to welcome back President Rooney, who will offer the degree acknowledgement for the class of 2021.
Thank you for your remarks, Salit. The graduates of 2021 will be individually recognized in their school ceremonies. But I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the extraordinary achievements of the class of 2021. In the face of unprecedented challenges, you triumphed and fulfilled the requirements of your degrees. These degrees include doctoral, Master of Arts, Master of Science, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, certificates, and specialists. So now, candidates, upon the recommendation of the deans and faculty, and by the authority granted to Loyola University by the state of Illinois, and delegated to me by the Board of Trustees of this university, I confer upon you the degree for which you have been recommended. Congratulations, graduates. As students, and now graduates of Loyola University Chicago, you are called to bring hope and light, adding to the knowledge shared by those who have taught you how to engage with the world. Your teachers, your families, your friends, your communities. With courage and resilience, you moved, adapted, and continue to connect, to learn, and to take care of each other. You navigated unexpected changes while supporting one another and completing your work. This same spirit has characterized Loyola since its founding in 1870. A year after Father Damon established the college, the Great Chicago Fire swept the city, but left the college intact. Some say Providence saved the new St. Ignatius College. In any case, the building became a refuge for displaced residents and a center for rebuilding the city. Classes resumed 3 weeks later. The Jesuits did not promote a blind, unquestioning faith. Rather, they practiced a method that opened soul and mind to art and to science, to reason and to rhetoric. Through inquiry, observation, debate, and discourse, the Jesuits looked for God in all things. They created a system of education that integrated research and study, contemplation and conversation with active engagement in the society and culture around them. In paintings and statues, St. Ignatius is often depicted in mid-stride, in motion. He has one foot planted firmly on the ground and one foot lifted, poised forward. His head is level, his gaze fixed ahead into the future. St. Ignatius himself described the ideal leader as living with one foot raised, ready to step forward and respond to human need. This focus on serving a greater good continues to be the hallmark of Jesuit education. His stationary foot reminds us that progress emanates from a firm foundation. Through the forward momentum of our mission into an uncertain world and the frontiers where others have not gone, we stay grounded in learning, in faith, in reason, and in our values. Now you move forward, keeping one foot raised in motion into a world that needs your talent, intelligence, and compassion more than ever. Remain open to new perspectives and seek new knowledge. Engage respectfully but directly with those who may not share your ideas and ideals. Be resolute in your goal to embrace and harness innovation and action for greater good in the world. Make a difference. As I close, I would like to offer one final gesture of respect and gratitude to each and every one of you. 2021 graduates of Loyola University Chicago, I tip my hat to you. Congratulations. Graduates, wherever you are, please remain seated. Family and friends, wherever you are, please stand if you are able and symbolically extend your hand over our graduates for a final blessing. May God bless you and sustain you on this, your graduation day. May the Creator of this vast universe keep you safe as you go forth from this place that has nourished your mind and your soul. May the Almighty look down upon you and give you success in all your endeavors, courage in all your struggles and challenges, understanding in all that is new to you, wisdom to choose what is right and do what is good, perseverance in all you undertake, serenity and peace in the knowledge that you are not alone, that you are loved. May the Lord of all look kindly upon you this day and forever. Amen. Graduates of the class of 2021, may you go forth and set the world on fire with the love of God and neighbor. Congratulations.